Tone Deaf is the journey of a musical theater nerd, bringing musicals into the life of their musically challenged spouse. The reactions to the musicals are real and mostly unedited. This show is rated explicit for mature content and strong language. Now sit back, relax, and have a laugh. You're listening to Tone Deaf.
Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd.
And I'm Warren. I'm musically challenged.
So thank you guys for tuning in for this extra special episode of Tone Deaf as we catch up with our episode count.
From the week that Kay had the plague.
Yep, the swollen face plague. Just wanted to real quick say if you guys want to help out the show at all, feel free to leave a review on iTunes or wherever you get your good podcasts. Podchaser's another one of those.
Yeah, reviews and stuff and word of mouth is the best way to help independent podcasts grow. So any effort you do to help us is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated.
Yep.
And if you leave us a review and you want recognition, we'd be happy to. We'll thank you. We'll thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah.
We'll shout your praises to everyone who listens to the show.
We will. And speaking of someone who listened to the show, a friend of the show, Reagan, let us know something about Score that I completely spaced because my brain just short-circuited. That movie
was a pucking disaster?
Well, besides being a pucking disaster, was also at the Toronto Film Festival at the same time as 127 Hours and The King's Speech and Black Swan. So that it was that year.
And it opened the Toronto Film
Yes.
Festival? So, I told you, they wanted to start at a low bar, so they had nowhere to go but up.
God, though, man. Anyway, so just wanted to share that bit, because I totally, my brain was just so fried from Score. And so thank you, Reagan, for reminding us about that, because, man, that show was a monstrosity. But this one is a classic. However, Warren, we have trouble.
Big Trouble in Little China?
We have trouble right here in Salt Lake City.
Well, yeah.
But, dang it, I had a joke with this, and then my brain reminded me of Score, because it keeps... The hockey song keeps sneaking in, so...
Kay has some PTSD. This is one of those situations where I'm glad that I am as tone deaf as I am, because I'm less likely to get a terrible song stuck in my head.
I'm in hell, guys, so I'm hoping that this helps. But, Warren didn't get the joke that I was throwing at him yet, because he has not seen this show. We are watching Music Man.
And you had hinted at me before that, like so many musicals before, this is one that I will recognize all the references from.
Yes. You didn't recognize the one I threw at you, but that's okay.
Nope, swing and a miss on my part.
So,
Whoosh!
Music Man was written by Meredith Willson. Now, before we go on, I'm going to say Meredith Willson's full name. Meredith Willson is just the stage name, like the shortened name. Full name was, full name is Robert Reniger Meredith Willson. So he just went by his middle name and his last name.
I was not expecting Meredith Willson to be a guy.
There are a lot of names that used to be men's names or used to be paired with men's names that aren't anymore. Same as with women's names, like Jamie used to be a guy's name.
There's a Meredith at work.
Yeah.
So that's I've not known many Merediths, but I've only ever known it as a woman's name.
Yeah, it's not a common name anymore. But that's neither here nor there.
It's over there.
Meredith Willson wrote both the book, the music, and the lyrics for this.
So the complete control over it.
Yes.
No adaptations that they did not personally approve of.
Exactly. So this is considered one of the classic musicals and one of the war horses of Broadway.
Is it one of the 4 war horses of Broadway?
Kind of, yeah. There's Music Man, Carousel.
Oh god! Wait, whoa! You're putting this up there with Carousel? So is it a bad musical?
Oh no, I'm just saying that Carousel is a warhorse. Like, it's one of the ones that runs forever on Broadway.
I don't know why, because it's a pile of flaming garbage.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess with Carousel, it's not that it runs forever, it's just that everyone knows of it. And if you're a theater person, you have to have been exposed to it at least once.
To be immunized or anything like that? Is it like getting a vaccine so that you don't catch a disease later? Or is it more like the plague and it just comes through and leaves nothing but devastation?
So, luckily that's not the show we're watching yet. We'll hit that road eventually. Music Man was an instant hit when it premiered on Broadway in 1957. It earned Best Musical among its 5 Tonys that it won that year.
Holy shit!
And it ran for 1,375 performances in its first run.
Nice.
It won the first Grammy for Best Musical Theater Album. It was on the Billboard charts for 245 weeks.
Wow!
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see what you're saying. It's one of the...
It is a warhorse.
Yeah. Sorry, tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it called a warhorse? That doesn't seem like something to be associated with musical theater.
Because it just keeps going. It's...
Okay, I would think that something like one of the pillars or something would make more sense.
That's another term you could use, I guess.
Because I'm just picturing... I don't know nothing about Music Man, but you say it's one of the warhorses, and I'm just picturing, like, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse galloping and singing as they're coming to obliterate the world.
It's just like a warhorse can't be stopped. They just keep going.
Okay.
I guess Tripwire might stop a warhorse, but that's in film, and we don't do that anymore.
Okay.
And if people do that, then I'm going to go beat them personally, because you do not hurt my precious horses.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this show has been revived 3 times. It was revived for 2 weeks in 1965, 3 weeks in 1980, and then in 2000 it ran for 699 performances. And there was a really short-lived one in 2008, but I couldn't find much on it, so it's not really considered like one of its main revivals.
Gotcha.
It's been adapted for film twice. It was adapted for film in 1962, which is the version we're watching.
Okay.
And then it was also adapted for, I guess more TV than film, but same difference, in 2003. Meredith Willson wrote this show based on his childhood in Iowa. And he actually had tried to pitch this idea to several producers, including producers at MGM, for television, and he got rejected. And so he decided to team up with Franklin Lacey to try and edit his libretto down and see if he could improve upon it some more. And one part that he edited was a bit of dialogue that was about the issues going on in the town the show takes place in, River City, Iowa. And he realized that this dialogue would actually work better as lyrics, and it became one of the most iconic patter songs in musical theater.
Remind me what a patter song is.
They're the songs with snappy, quick dialogue.
Okay, like I Am the Very Model of a Major...
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, because I thought that's what it was, but I couldn't remember. So I just want to reiterate so that I make sure I'm understanding. Mm-hmm. He initially... So did he write it first, like the book version?
Mm-hmm.
Or
He wrote it for TV first.
Okay, he wrote it for TV, but he initially intended it to just be not a straight play, but just a straight performance, right?
It would be a musical.
Oh, he did want it to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was still putting music into it, but
just this one particular part he realized would be better done as a song.
Yeah, and it's one of the most iconic songs, most iconic patter songs and iconic songs in musical theater. It's probably one of the most parodied songs.
So are you betting this is one I'll recognize?
Well, considering that I started our review with it, I don't think so. Well, you got trouble, my friends. Yes, sir. We got trouble right here in River City with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. We surely got trouble right here in River City.
So I may already know the reference. I think that I get a reference from Simpsons with the monorail.
Yes! Yay! Okay. So you know where it's referenced, one of the many times this show has been referenced. So a couple of other things about the show. He based the love interest on a Provoite.
Interesting.
And her name was Marion Seeley. She was a medical records librarian that he met in World War II.
Is she the one who invented celiac disease?
No. Good Lord.
I know.
Not even spelled the same way. It's so
I'm trying to contribute something.
You're fine, babe.
You're the smart one and cute one and funny one.
I would say that you're the cute and funny one. I'm the nerd. You're the cute, funny, and we're getting a little bit too. These fine folks don't need to hear me gush over my husband. Jesus Christ. So Robert Preston, who is considered to be the best Harold Hill, who's the lead character, he ended up getting the role because of how he was able to perform "You Got Trouble," which is the Patter song. Because a lot of the men auditioning for the show couldn't sing that part, and that was the part that they used as their audition.
It was tricky.
Mm-hmm. And he wasn't a singer, but he was an actor, and he was able to hit that. Like, hit all of the lyrics as needed, and he just, he's so good. And he will be in the movie that we're watching. So, during this production, the show had, during the production of the show, it had 22 of 40 songs cut, and went through about 40 drafts.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why it is so good and has standed the test of time, is because they really refined it and got it down.
Yes.
You know what could have used another 40 revisions?
Score?
Yes.
Yeah.
That could have used another 40 revisions.
It could have. It really could have.
But anyway.
Puck that show.
Puck that show with a stick.
So, without going back to that monstrosity, it opened at the Majestic Theater in December of 1957. And then 3 years later, it moved to the Broadway Theater, which is one of the only Broadway theaters actually located on the street of Broadway still. Remember that a Broadway theater is a professional theater that has 500 or more seats.
Okay. That's what makes it Broadway, is 500 or more.
Mm-hmm. And professional.
Yeah, professional. People are getting paid. They're not volunteering.
People are getting paid, and I believe they do have to be in New York for them to really be considered a Broadway theater.
That makes sense, because freaking East Coast elitists.
So, when it won the Tony for Best Musical, it actually took West Side Story out behind the theater and beat it for dominance. Yeah, same year. It had a long-running tour in 1958 in America, and then it opened in Australia in 1960. It opened at the Hippodrome in the UK in 1961 before moving to the West End.
The Hippodrome?
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. That sounds like a creature out of Greek mythology. Hercules battled the Hippodrome too.
I knew that would happen, and I went with it anyway.
It's not Hippodrome. That sounds like a drone that looks like a hippopotamus. Like if you made drones that were little submarines, they'd be hippodromes.
And that killed more people than lions. Oh, Jesus. And there was a Chinese translation of the musical that opened in 1987. There will be another revival planned for 2020.
Cool.
I want you to guess who is going to be Harold Hill.
Okay, so Harold Hill, if I am gathering correctly, is basically a con man, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I can't say the one. Okay. Is it somebody that I would know?
Yes.
Oh. Hugh Jackman?
Yes, motherfucking Wolverine.
I can't believe I got that the first try. Wow.
Motherfucking Wolverine is going to be Harold Hill, and I'm so excited. And now I wish we could go to New York in 2020.
Yeah.
to go see it.
Yeah.
It opens right after our anniversary, too.
Oh,
I know.
Man. Dang it.
Yeah.
I hate being poor.
Me too.
Why? Broadway, like, just come on, guys. Like,
do a Fathom event.
Record one. What?
So Fathom events, there where they'll live stream
Yes.
the show at a movie theater.
Yes.
Do that.
Please.
We'll go. We'll pay for it. We'll
Please.
buy out a theater
Like,
for it.
damn it.
I mean, we can't, but
I think buying out a theater would probably cost about as much as if we flew there and got tickets.
True. But then we'd have to leave the dog at home.
Yeah, I could just hear her right now. She's like,
No. So, as you mentioned earlier, there is a Simpsons reference with this, with the monorail song. It's also been referenced by Family Guy twice, at least. I haven't watched Family Guy in a while.
yeah,
but...
me either, and I can't think of
So,
those.
do you remember the episode where Brian ends up falling in love with the old lady Pearl?
Yes.
Before all of that happens, there's a scene where Lois is teaching a piano lesson, and she and Brian are talking back or singing
Yes.
back and forth. That's a song that they're referencing, a song that is in Music Man there. And then when Peter is playing for the Patriots and he does the showboating,
Shaboopy.
yes,
Shaboopy.
Shapoopy, that's
Oh,
a
Shapoopy.
song.
Oh, that's in Music Man?
Yes,
The
and
girl who's hard to get.
they do just like a reenactment of that song which is why I laughed so hard when we were watching that. And then Boston Legal did it. Ally McBeal did a reference. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic did a reference to Music
Jesus.
Man. Everybody references it, and even Keith Olbermann has called Glenn Beck Harold Hill because Grifter. However, I like Harold Hill, and Harold Hill has some character development, so I don't think this is fair to Harold Hill.
It's not fair to the fictional character.
It is not. So,
Fictional characters have feelings too, damn it.
exactly. So, yeah, this is going to be a nice change of pace. You'll get to watch another classic musical,
Nice.
with a plot that's easy to follow. And
I've
good.
noticed the method that you have done our show with is because you'll be like, a good show that I can hedge my bets that he'll probably like. Show that will destroy his sanity. Show that could go either way. Like, another good show.
Yeah, and that's how I feel once we start Spoopy Month. I'm a little concerned about one of the shows, but we'll see. So, do you have any questions before we go watch Music Man? Or
No, you had a pretty comprehensive
right,
intro there.
all right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited now that I actually kind of know some of the references and I know a bit of what it's about, just vaguely. So
I will say I have some good memories about my dad with this one, because he liked this show a lot. And
Grifter's gonna grift?
Yeah, but he I don't know, I had some good memories with this with my dad. It's
That's
one
good,
of
though.
the few good memories with him, but it's there.
That's good, though.
So, yeah, so it's not like with Oklahoma with my grandfather. Those are like just beautiful memories. Rose-tinted memories. These are like, yeah, you were starting to go a little crazy when we watched this together. Alright, so let's take a brief intermission. Pray that Latte doesn't get too upset with us watching 2 musicals in one day. And let's go watch Music Man. Woo! Hi folks, we wanted to take a quick moment to thank our Patreon sponsors.
Thank you to our stage crew sponsors, Jasmine Wu and Reagan, and our producer circle sponsor, Bianucci.
Thank you so much for your continued support of our show.
We truly appreciate it.
Now let's hear a word from one of our favorite shows, History on Blast.
Hello, Hello, and welcome to History on Blast. I'm Hillary, and I'll be your host as we call out history. Every other week, we'll be putting a different person, place, time, or event on blast for the shit that they pulled. This ain't your grandpa's history podcast, so if this sounds like your cup of harbor tea, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast catcher.
And now, the lights are going down and the music is starting back up, so let's hop into the second act of the show. Okay, babes, so, what did you think about, the OG Grifter musical?
It was okay. It was okay. The ending pissed me off a lot.
That seems to be the case with some of these older musicals, that the ending is like, God damn it.
Yeah, that definitely is the case. Like, I like the entire show up until the end, and then I just feel a little bit let down. So, we're gonna get right into it on this one. So, the first note I had on here was a nice toy soldier intro, Meredith, because the intro credits have, like, a marching band thing, but because of the time it was shot, they look a lot like Nutcrackers or toy soldiers. So, that was the thought that I couldn't keep out of my head at the very beginning. Fine. The show opens up with our con lead man rushing onto a train as he's pursued by an angry mob. As the train takes off, a bunch of traveling salesmen sing about selling goods. Hard goods, soft goods, small goods, big goods, alive goods, dead goods, good goods, bad goods. All to the tune of the tooting train. They start talking about a man, a man that they have heard of. This man, Harold Hill. He's a piss-poor professor of music, selling lies to the fine people of small towns everywhere. Professor Hill is found out and bails off the train to give Iowa a try for his con, much to the dismay of the other salesmen, since Hill is giving their profession a bad name. Sorry. I had a pop-up on my computer and then it threw me off my thing. Okay.
No worries, dear.
Hill gets off the train and is immediately reverse-greeted by everyone he encounters, who tell him to mind his own business. I thought small-town folks were supposed to be friendly. These ones are very much not. I mean, maybe they have a douchebag sense and they can tell that this snake oil salesman is up to no good, but every person he meets when he gets off the train, and it was funny because I just keep referring to it as small-town or Iowa, because it wasn't until halfway through I was like, oh, it's called River City, isn't it? Like, so,
there's a song about it, but...
Yeah, well, you know me and how I am with that. So when he gets off the train full of salesmen and he's in River City, just immediately starts asking, hey, where's a good hotel? And they're like, Chicago. And, oh, okay. He's like, what do people do for fun around here? Mind our own business. They're just very resistant to the idea of strangers. And what made me laugh is like, you're welcome to come to the picnic. Eat all the food you can that you bring yourself.
Yeah.
I was just like, jeez.
I love that opening number.
It is pretty good.
Or those two opening numbers, because I love the salesman on the train, because that's just musically cool.
It is musically well done. Like, I don't know the proper terms to use for what they were doing there, where the way they delivered their lyrics matched the
It was another type of patter song. That's pretty much the case with about half of the songs in this show. Like, there are a lot of patter songs and then a lot of just, standard musical theater songs. Or standard for the time.
I'm always very impressed by patter songs, because regular musical stuff is already out of my reach. Patter songs are like put on the shelf by Shaquille O'Neal, and no matter how hard I jump, I will never reach them.
However, Shaquille O'Neal should never do a patter song.
Shaquille O'Neal, no, very nice guy, I'm sure. He should never be allowed to sing ever. I'm sorry.
Or rap, and this is coming from me, who can't rap.
You can rap better than Shaquille O'Neal.
Only if it's one that someone else already wrote. Not gonna green egg and ham it. Oh, man.
Okay. So, after the reverse greetings by the unfriendly townsfolk of River City, I just ruined my entry. Okay. After getting a not-so-friendly hello from the townsfolk, Hill runs into one of his old business partners, Marcellus, who tells him that the people here are not an easy mark. What they don't have, they make do without. Marcellus tells Harold that the librarian will call him out and expose him before he can sell these folks on his band scam. Harold notices the billiard house and decides that it's a perfect opportunity to create a problem that he can solve for the fine folks of this town. Harold stirs the townfolk up into a frenzy about pool, and how it will be the doom of the youth in town. Pool will make them criminals, no good scoundrel types.
That song is one of my favorite patter songs of all time, and Forbidden Broadway brings that one up a lot.
Oh, yeah?
And, to point out shows that they would say Harold Hill would claim are ruining Broadway. And I love, because they always update it, and they actually do a lot of Music Man references in Forbidden Broadway. Someday we need to, find a way to see that, because I love Forbidden Broadway. It's one of my favorite shows. But, they'll, we got trouble, my friends. Yes, sir, trouble right here in New York City. Why, sure, I'm a theater goer. Certainly mighty proud to say it. I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours that I spend at a Broadway show are golden. Help me cultivate culture and a feeling of dramatic flair. But, friends, I say it takes brain... dang it. I forgot the lyrics. Anyway, I love how they do that, and I love parodies of that song, so...
I feel like Hot and Bothered is probably going to be full of parodies.
Oh, yeah, and... Yeah, it's gotta be.
Gotta sneak a patter song in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, gotta do that.
I guess it won't be sneaking, it'll be overt, so...
Yeah. Overt parodies.
Alright, so after Harold whips the town up into a frenzy about the dangers of pool...
So easy to do that with white people.
Hey, when we decide to mobilize against something, we do it at breakneck speed.
Jesus Christ, y'all can scare me sometimes.
They scare me, okay? I mean, I have mayonnaise flowing through my veins and it still scares me.
I shouldn't have taken a drink.
Just water, we promise. Marcellus points out that... when Harold is rousing the townsfolk against the evils of pool, Marcellus gives him the signal that the librarian is approaching, and it's just a piano playing motion. Mm-hmm. And Harold jumps onto the opportunity to try and schmooze her, I guess. But Marion the librarian, which when I found that's what her name was, I was like, God damn it, Marion the librarian. Just... If I ever write a musical, every character is going to have a fucking rhyming name with their profession. Anyway.
That's why I mentioned who she was based on at the beginning.
But Marion the librarian is not having any of it. Marion goes home and teaches piano to some little girl, Amaryllis. We get a funny scene with Marion's mother giving her grief about not accepting a gentleman's advances, and she's not getting any younger. Excuse me. Marion tells her to shove it in so many melodic words, all while still coaching Amaryllis. That was the reference that you were telling me earlier that Family Guy did, where it's like, okay, oh my gosh, I find... Oh, wow, okay, I'm not even going to attempt it. Not even going to attempt it. Oh, I guess that's a lie. I did attempt it, and I fell flat on my face, which is just normal for me when dealing with musical stuff. God, I'm bad with the musicals.
Fine, babe.
Okay, so Amaryllis goes out in back of the house to get a drink from their water pump, which old-timey as hell. Just as Winthrop, Marion's little brother, comes home. Amaryllis asks Winthrop if he wants to come to her birthday party next week, and he says no, but his mother scolds him for not having proper manners. Oh, Winthrop, you better have proper manners with the young lady. Except her Irish is better than that. And Winthrop throws a little fit over his lip when he says, no thank you, Amaryllis. Amaryllis asks Marion why her brother is such a little baby, and Marion explains it's because of his lisp and how he doesn't like to speak. Amaryllis makes a big deal about not having a boyfriend, and unintentionally guilts Marion about not having a boyfriend either.
I love that line.
The two have a duet and sing Upon a Star, wishing for a boyfriend, I guess? Did I catch that?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, right, because I didn't fully understand what was going on there in that scene, other than she's like, but I wish on the evening star.
Say goodnight to him on the evening star.
And then they have their little duet song. We cut to the townspeople having a celebration. I'm not sure what the event is, but they're celebrating being American.
I think it is 4th of July.
Okay, because I don't recall seeing fireworks, and that's just so stereotypical. And I don't...
Later in the scene, it's the whole burning of Pompeii thing that they talk about doing.
Gotcha. So, but they do a patriotic song to a patriotic slideshow, and the mayor's wife and some kids doing Indian dance, and the real hero, Tommy, lights a firework and blows up the mayor's wife. Unfortunately, she survives. I gotta say, I think, was the most annoying character in the show.
Oh my god,
I found her so annoying. I'm sure that actress is a lovely human being, but
she's meant to be.
I wish she would have gotten blown up by Tommy. The mayor is trying to read his announcements and keeps getting interrupted by Harold as he stokes the fires of fear among the townsfolk over the pool house in town. He jumps in to save the day and gives his sales pitch about River City getting a boys' band. I realize now that it was a band for everybody, not just the boys, but...
Mostly the boys.
Mostly the boys. Because trumpets are magical, and marching is wholesome, and think of the children, or something. Harold casts some kind of spell, or spikes the water of the town with an hallucinogen, because everyone breaks into a air marching band number and takes to the streets pretending to play music, while music is actually going on, because this is a musical. But if you take away the music, this would be a bunch of whacked out townsfolk flailing their arms and marching in line. The mayor and his bunch are spellbound by the prospect of this marching band making them famous, and the librarian gives them a reality check about this fly-by-night salesman. So,
oh my god.
I kind of rapid-fired those last parts. So, after, so when they're doing the quote-unquote patriotic 4th of July celebration, and my homeboy Tommy attempts to kill the Wicked Witch of Iowa, but fails, unfortunately, when they're having their, town... I guess, is it a town hall meeting? I don't really know what to call it, but the mayor is standing in front of the crowd, trying to read his announcements that he has just about what's going on in the town and what's scheduled, and everybody's like, rabble, 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 is it true there's a pool house here? Rabble, 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 think of the children! That's when, Harold is really funny in that, because the way he's, changing clothes, and he'd jump up over here and say something to, get people going, then he'd go over here, say something to get people going, and then, just... This fucking guy, man.
Yep.
Just manufacturing a crisis so that he can provide a solution. I really don't like him in this, in the beginning at least.
So there's a horrifying thing that I realized as I was rewatching this, because I haven't seen this since 2016. Who?
Oh, it goes,
since 2016
goes without saying. I was
fucking grifter.
I was attempting to go through this whole thing without making a reference to
the potato, the sweet potato.
No, he's not sweet. The vile potato.
The yam.
The yam in command. Yeah, I was trying to avoid that, but the comparisons are the Harold is way more suave, and at least he's not trying to orchestrate violence.
Yeah, and he gets character development.
And he does get character development, which is nice. But what the actual fuck about that scene where the entire group takes to the streets pretending to be playing when music is going on? I mean, it's a nice foreshadowing of the very ending.
Yeah.
Which I realize now as I'm going through the notes, but what the fuck? I almost want to take that scene and take out the music and just have that scene of all of these people just flailing around and pretending to play instruments. Because it's goddamn bizarre. Oh my god.
We need to do that.
Oh.
We need to do it.
I think that would be really funny. So, after the librarian tells them, hey, you guys have just been spellbound by this Yahoo who just came into town, the attempted murderer Tommy, who tried to blow up the mayor's wife, is brought to justice and about to be taken to jail when Professor Hill steps in and tells the constable that he can take this young man under his wing. Harold tells the constable that he knows how to break up a gang and keep a young man out of trouble. TNA, that's how.
Mm-hmm.
Harold grabs a girl from a group who are passing by and hooks Tommy up with her. Turns out that that's the mayor's oldest daughter, the one that the mayor doesn't want hanging out with Tommy.
Yep.
But that just made me laugh so much, because it's like, youth and revolt, you know how you nip that in the bud? Get him laid.
Yeah.
Pussy, the great distractor. Harold chases down Marion and tries to continue his advances to no success. She doesn't fall for him easily. Harold is accosted by the school board, who want his papers and certificates and credentials to prove his authenticity as a professor. Harold thinks quick and convinces the four men that they're a barbershop quartet, and it works. The four men who used to hate each other are now the best musical buds.
Good lord.
And they were actually pretty entertaining. Like, I'm kind of a sucker for barbershop quartets.
Me too.
I need to actually look up some, because I love that music.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a cappella, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for
Generally,
it.
yeah.
Generally a cappella. I've got a weird soft spot for it. We see Harold in the next scene convincing a woman that her two little tone-deaf twins are musically talented. She signs them up on the spot for something, costumes or something. I don't remember what instrument he's trying to
Yeah, I
dole
can't
out to
remember
them.
the instrument
Yeah.
for them either.
Because he's basically just has them sing, and he's like, oh, just wonderful, oh my gosh, sign here. And she's like, oh my gosh, I have talented children because I'm dumb. So, Harold runs into the mayor's wife and her bunch of socialite feathered-hatted friends. They're critical of him, and he convinces the mayor's wife that she should be a dancer. What with her natural grace and all, the woman swoons over Harold's kind words and immediately forget what their grievances were. Harold brings up Marion the librarian and is given the 411 on her shady escapades. The word on the street is she was involved with some old rich guy who, when he died, left the library to the city, but all the books to Marion, assuring her position as Supreme Empress of Books for River City. But librarian is easier to say in polite conversation.
And she doles out dirty books.
Books that have people eating sandwiches in the forest and drinking wine.
Chaucer.
Balzac! Ballsack. Because I'm original. I'm sure that joke's never been made. The show is really fast-paced. The only times that I felt like I had a chance to catch up are when they were doing the lengthy musical numbers that kind of kept going. Because that way I could finish typing out my thought and have enough time to actually look at the screen for a moment.
Mm-hmm. I love how they intercut the chickens with the women doing the pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, pick, talk a little.
That was, God, that was so great. Because, and because they were even kind of color-coded to match the chickens as well. And, then there are a bunch of
clucking hens.
Clucking, annoying individuals.
Mm-hmm.
As Harold attempts to make his escape from the Cluck Brigade, he once again is accosted by the school board quartet, who demand to see his credentials. Harold invites them to his hotel where his papers are, but before he can, he slyly distracts the quartet with the Cluck Brigade, allowing Harold to sneak into Marcel's horse house, carriage rental shop, barn. I'm gonna go with horse house. He sneaks into his horse house.
It's the best little horse house in Iowa.
What would that place be?
I think that they called it the livery stables.
Okay, stables.
But it is a carriage rental.
You know, I can't believe that I forgot the word stable.
I mean, a horse house.
It's accurate. It's an accurate
It's where
synonym.
you put a horse. It's where horses live.
It's where they spend their time when they're not out being horses in Iowa, as horses are wont to do. So, but after Harold sneaks into Marcel's horse house, Amaryllis goes. She doesn't knock on the door. She opens the door and is peeking through, and Harold points it out to Marcellus, who goes over and says, "Hey, we're closed." And she's like, "But can I come in and see the horses?" He's like, "Well, visiting hours are over, but okay." And they let the little girl in to spend time with the horses.
Nothing suspicious about a little girl in a barn with 2 adult men.
And horses.
And, yeah, but
it's a small town in Iowa.
come on,
Look
little girl, come hang out with the
Yeah.
horses. Want to see my horse?
Yeah. Ugh. God.
Just saying.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
If 2 older men had lured me into the stable by myself...
They didn't lure her in. She went there by choice.
True, but she knows where the horses are, and as a little girl, you go, horses! Different time, I know, but...
But you're also a black woman who was raised to be like, hey, be careful.
Yeah, this is true. I was socialized with that of, people want to steal ya.
Yes. Hey, I bought you fair and square, okay? Look at your left hand, alright? So, Marcellus tries to hook Harold up with someone, and Harold is like, nah, but in a song form and a dance number instead. He's like, no, I'm gonna go over to the library. I've got something to research. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You get what I'm saying?
I need the sadder but wiser girl.
Yeah, he wants the sadder but wiser girl, which it just makes me laugh. And the song that he has with Marcellus, I thought was really funny because I missed some of the lines in there. But he's talking about that, like, the innocent girl will tie you up on knots that not even a sailor knows. You know, just that she's gonna. Basically, he was like, the overall tone I got was that a sweet innocent girl is less likely to have sex with you before marriage, where the sadder, wiser girl is more likely to put out, is kind of what his tone implied.
Yeah.
But Harold then goes to the library to attempt to swoon Marion again in a very, very, very creepy way, in my opinion. Then again, a grifter and salesman is used to working against resistance and not taking no for an answer. The dancing and choreography in this scene is really good, though. I should mention, Harold begins to wear down Marion, and she smiles and is having fun during the course of the dance number until she realizes that she's having fun and stops it immediately. Harold quickly makes an exit after Marion assaults Tommy. Such violence in the library. Such violence against a minor. So, like, you know, Harold's being kind of creepy and handsy towards her, and she goes to slap him, and he moves out of the way, and she clocks Tommy instead.
Yeah.
When I was like, oh, poor Tommy, because Tommy's actually a good kid. Like,
he is.
I mean, he's my favorite character so far. He tried to kill the most annoying person, so... After the creepy advances at the library, Harold goes to visit the mayor, who demands that Harold turn in his references and proof of professorship. Harold, of course, deflects the situation and tells the mayor that he has a marvelous genetic advantage in his hand. The spread of his pinky finger makes his son a prime candidate to play some kind of horn.
The flugelhorn.
Thank you, Kay. The flugelhorn. I can't remember, but now I remember because Kay told me. The mayor signs for the instrument before realizing that he doesn't have a son. He's never had a son. The mayor rants and raves and attracts the attention of his wife, who comes out to see what all the hubbub is about. But like a grifter ninja, Harold makes a quick escape and leaves the mayor fingering at his imaginary horn. That scene made me laugh a lot because Harold is so good at distracting people when they're asking him tough questions that he doesn't want to answer. And the way that he's like, your hands, what about my hands? He's like, the spread your last finger. It's like, it's marvelous. It is? It's genetic, actually. Your son would be great at playing this. And I'm like, how dumb do you have to be to not realize that you don't have that kid?
I feel like the idiot ball was passed around a lot by the townspeople in this.
I'm saying maybe when the town was founded, there were only like 6 people. And they're all descended from those 6 people, with the occasional person who moved in. I mean, that would explain some of the intellectual deficiencies among some of them. So what's worse, Kay? 2 adult men with a little girl in a horse house, or the entire town is descended from 6 people?
They're both bad. Both is bad.
Okay, that's fair.
I think, though, that we now know how the entire cast of the Hair movie can exist. They are descendants of the townspeople of River City, Iowa.
I don't follow.
That is the only way that the stupid ball could get passed around so much in that movie, is that they are descendants. This is all part of the Broadway Cinematic Universe.
Oh, okay, gotcha, interconnected.
So they're all descendants of these River Cityans, and that's why the stupid ball got passed so much.
You mean the River Cityots?
Yes, the River Cityots.
So Harold is at Marion's house, hitting up her mother for Winthrop's future, in the band, of course. Winthrop runs away after Harold asks him a couple of questions. Marion tells Harold to piss off and quit hassling the family about the band and Winthrop's dead father. So in that scene, I don't remember how it gets to the point, but Harold is talking to Marion's mother, and I don't remember how they get on the topic of Winthrop and him playing in the band, but I just remember that he falls from the tree, and he's like, "Oh, don't you want to be in the band?" And he's like, "Do I get a uniform?" "Yeah, uniform with a stripe down the leg." But Winthrop runs off because he doesn't want to talk and use his S's, and that's when Harold is like, "Oh, well, we should ask the boy's father." And that's when they're like, "Where's the boy's father?" And that's when Marion is like, "He's dead. And if you want to go talk to him, and if you want to talk to Winthrop, you can explain to him why his father was taken from him." And just kind of really just rubs Harold's nose in it.
Yep. And during this, they sing Gary, Indiana, which comes back later with Winthrop.
That's right. Thank you. Harold was singing about being from Gary, Indiana, which he's not. But he's singing about being from Gary, Indiana, and that was before Winthrop falls out of the tree. Okay. So Harold does leave the... what's their last name? Do you remember? Peru. Harold does leave the Peru estate, which spurs Marion's mother to ask, "What are you waiting for if you're not getting..." Sorry. "Oh, what are you waiting for? You're not getting any younger. Spread them knees and you have yourself a good roll in the hay." So I pride myself on being as dumb and offensive as possible. So I gotta stick with that. Marion sings about this, the kind of man that she wants. Kind, quiet, gentle, more interested in her than himself. Sounds very reasonable to me. I can't believe that it's that hard for her to find that kind of man in the town that she lives in, but I guess apparently it is.
River City in 1910.
Just
probably an issue.
I guess all the guys are rude, loud, rough, and more interested in themselves than women.
Probably.
I guess. But,
or, because it does seem like they came into the town, so if we're going with the everyone's descended from the same 6 people,
gotcha,
she knows, and she's going, "Oh, hell
that's
no."
right, they did move in. I forgot about that line, because when they're talking about... I can't remember the old guy that... Madison, thank you. Because when they were saying that Miser Madison didn't have a single friend in the town until Marion moved in. And so, of course, they're just like, "Oh, scandalous, this young woman hanging around with this old man. Like, she must be doing naughty things with him." But instead, he's probably an old scholar, and she's a young intellectual, and just... probably like a grandfather relationship type thing, is what I would imagine. But, let's see. Tommy and what's-her-face, Mayor's daughter, have their little lovebird banter in the library and agree to meet up at the bridge after supper for some canoodling. While this is going on, Miriam finds a book containing the proof that Professor Hill is a hilariously unqualified person to be selling musical instruments. I can't remember the name of the book, but she basically finds a book that's like Indiana University documentation or something like that. And it's from, what was it, from like 1889 to 1910 or something like that. Yeah. He keeps telling everybody that he's graduated in 1905.
Yep, from the Gary, Indiana Conservatory. That's important later.
Haha. The Wells Fargo wagon has come to town, likely to sign people up for bank accounts they didn't ask for. I mean, to deliver instruments to the poor suckers. I mean, the fine suckers. I mean, the fine citizens of River City. The fine cityots of River City. I kind of ruined that. But Winthrop is so excited about his trumpet that he's actually talking. And Miriam decides to destroy the evidence of Harold's bullshittery.
Yeah.
And because she's trying to talk to the mayor to be like, the mayor, like, look at this book. If you look at this book, it'll answer your questions. And then the Wells Fargo wagon comes to town. There's this whole song and dance about, oh, one time it brought me this. Oh, one time it brought me that.
The Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. I wonder what it could be.
Thank you, Kay.
Yeah.
Yes, so that song that Kay just sang. And everybody is lining up outside of the Wells Fargo wagon, hoping that it's got something for them, which most of them it did not. But that's what distracts everybody, including the mayor, from seeing the information that Marion is trying to show him. Mm-hmm. But then once Marion sees how much her brother has opened up and gotten excited and isn't moping, she's like, well, I don't want to crush him by destroying this man who has brightened up his life, so she decides to instead destroy the evidence.
Yep. So fun fact that I didn't realize until the very end of this, Winthrop is fucking Ron Howard.
What?
Yes, that's Ron Howard.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Director Ron Howard?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. You're pulling my leg.
No, I'm not. I can pull it up.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and it was when they did the credits, because at first I'm going, oh man, I can't remember who played Winthrop, and then they ran the credits and I went, holy fucking shit.
Oh man, Ron Howard.
He went by Ronnie at the time, but yeah,
Ron used to be a cute little kid. What happened? Now he's like this older ginger monstrosity. I'm sorry, Ron Howard. I actually don't know what you look like now. That was just an easy opportunity to dig at you. Oh, never mind. He's an older ginger monstrosity. Kind of looks like a gremlin. And he's worth more than I will ever have in my entire life. So, who gets the last laugh, really?
Oh my god!
Ron Howard, that's who. So, and you can thank Kay for pointing out the fact that you were in this, Ron. So, the band, if we want to call them that, is practicing, I think, by not practicing, because they've been swindled. Oh, and there is this bizarre dance rehearsal from the mayor's wife that's all lame. So next scene. So when they're showing the band, it's I am just so baffled how nobody's bullshit alarms really went off, because
2016 happened. That's how this is plausible.
God damn it. So Harold is sitting with the kids just in this room, and they're all kind of lined up in chairs like you would if you're practicing musical instrument. And this little boy comes up and he's like, I don't know what to push on my horn. Can you show me? And Harold's like, oh shit, how do I get out of this? Oh, I know. I'll tell you this lie that I'm going to pretend I was told by somebody. Don't let anyone touch your instrument. It's your instrument. And he's like, but. Oh, kid, it's the secret. Just believe that you can play, and you'll be able to play.
It's the think system.
It's the bullshit system is what it is.
Da, 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 da.
God damn. So after this introspective into how good Howard is at bullshitting people, Harold is... Now we now see Harold is at the local soda shop buying ice cream for Tommy and his sweetie. When the mayor busts in, "Get your hands off my daughter, you darn dirty degenerate!" Harold rushes in to save Tommy and lend him aid and yells and tells the mayor that Tommy is a good kid and he's going places and he'll be happy to shake his hand at the band's first performance. The mayor scoffs at all of this nonsense and tells Harold that tells Tommy that if he sees him with his daughter again, he's gonna whip the hell out of him. Bunch of people, Tommy, the mayor's wife, and their daughter, whose name I can never remember because I don't care, leave the soda shop, and that's when, after they leave, Harold has a soda with Marion, who was impressed with how Harold stepped in to defend Tommy. Marion tells Harold that Winthrop loves his trumpet, but he hasn't touched it, inquiring about Harold's experimental think system, where if you think about being able to play, you'll be able to play. I think the creator of The Secret is a descendant of Harold. Grifter's got a grift, so... Just, because, if you just have positive thoughts and think about something, you have to put forth no effort whatsoever. You'll just magically get that thing. And God, if that worked, I would be an amazing artist, an amazing writer, and I'd be able to play every fucking instrument on the planet, and I wouldn't be so goddamn tone deaf.
Yep.
So, God, okay. As Harold is leaving the soda shop and heading back to his hotel room, he is accosted yet again by the school board quartet, who have now been deputized and are authorized to use deadly force in obtaining Harold's credentials. Harold tricks the idiots yet again with music. The quadridiots sing a song about some broad, and Marion sings too, until Winthrop comes home with his fancy, dandy new pocket knife, a gift courtesy of Harold, who taught him a neat song about Gary, Indiana, which has hardly any S's in it. Unfortunately, he sings it, and I should say he spits it. So... There was a scene where he's singing it in his mother's face, and I just kept expecting her to be twitching every time he hit a hard S, and then when he turned, just wiping spit off her face, because he's hitting these hard S's, and he sounds like Daffy Duck.
If you'd like to have a logical explanation.
Exactly.
Explanation.
Just blowing raspberries all over the place. Mr. Cowell arrives on the scene. He was on the train earlier. Mr. Cowell is an anvil salesman, and he has come to River City, Indiana to Iowa. Gary, Indiana is not Iowa. River City, Iowa is not Gary, Indiana. These are two different places that exist in two different locations.
One exists, one does not.
But we saw a place with River City and all the stuff going on there. It has to be real. It was on the Magic Mirror box. People live there. They have dreams, Kay. There's a dog there in River City. Are you saying that the dog doesn't exist, Kay? So, my break of reality resolved. Mr. Cowell, the anvil salesman, comes to River City, Iowa, to deliver news of Harold's bullshittery. Marion is jumping to Harold's defense, saying that he wouldn't, he isn't a lying piece of swindling garbage. She even goes so far as to mack on Mr. Cowell to keep him from delivering his incriminating letters to the mayor. Cowell tells Marion that Harold has a girl in every town, and that he's taking advantage of her. Marion doesn't want to believe it, but when Harold comes a-calling for their evening out, she's cold and resistant. Harold is able to bullshit his way past her defenses and convinces her to meet him at the fuck bridge. I mean the footbridge. In 15 minutes. His salesman mind trick works and he takes off, leaving Marion to get ready. Marion realizes where she agreed to meet Harold and cries out to her mother, who confesses that she has been using the think system on her daughter to get her to loosen up.
God damn.
So the way that the scene happens is when Harold goes to his hotel room and he's confronted by the quartet of idiots, and he's able to, slink away from them and get them to sing a song. And the way that the screen breaks, Marion is also singing a song. And then that's when her little brother comes running up, but she is just kind of hanging out on the front porch when Mr. Cowell comes walking by, carrying his briefcase, and he says, "Hey, do you know where the mayor's house is?" And she's like, "Well, you're basically on the wrong side of town. You got to go to the other side." He's like, "Rah, but I've only got 15 minutes before I got to get on this train, or I'm going to be fired." I was like, whose job is so important that you're like, "Oh, I got to stop over at this town before..." Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Salesman.
It doesn't matter. It's pointless. But he is super creepy towards Marion and just leering very, very heavily. And when she tries to kind of flirt her way into defending Harold, because she's trying to convince Cowell to give her the letters, and I'll deliver them to the mayor. And he's like, no, how do I know that you'll do it? And that's when she kisses him, like, "Do you trust me now?" And he's like, "Go a little bit farther than that, maybe." But, But then, of course, that's when Cowell is like saying, "You think you're special? He's got 100 girls just like you in every town in Iowa." And that's when she's like, "No, he's special. He likes me. He really likes me." Which, he does.
Yeah.
But after Harold shows up and works his way past Marion's defenses and kind of convinces her, "Oh, whoever you heard this from was just lying. They're jealous." Like, yada, yada, yada. So
it brings up Madison to sort of do that, to be like, "I mean, I've heard things about you."
Oh, that's right.
She's
he
like,
does that
"He
too.
was like an uncle to me."
Yeah, that's exactly right, because she calls him Uncle Madison. Uncle, my father's best friend, and that's true. That's how he's able to work in the whole, well, rumors aren't true. Just because someone said something doesn't mean it's true,
Yeah.
And that's how he's able to bullshit his way past her defenses. But after he leaves her house saying 15 minutes and then we're going to do the nasty, that's when we get the Shipoopy number at the fairgrounds. Nothing else really happens except Cowell is lurking around in the background, lurking for the mayor still, so he can deliver his incriminating letters on Harold. After the Shipoopy number, the stage clears for the mayor's wife and her flock of hens to do their interpretive dance number on Grecian urns!
Yeah.
And it's lame.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really focus on it that long. They cut away pretty quick because that was a mercy. So Harold is waiting at the footbridge for Marion. Why can't I say her name? For Marion. He pretends to conduct a mirage band in the water, which is odd. And now that I say that sentence out loud, I'm definitely going to have to explain it. While he's standing on the bridge, waiting for Marion to show up, he grabs this stick and he looks over the edge of the bridge into the water and he sees a mirage of a band, and that's when he pretends to be a conductor, and it was just, it's odd, and I don't know, it's odd because he's a fraud. So why does he want to conduct? I don't get that. Does he secretly want to do it? But he's been a fraud his whole life, and he's like, I can't go legit now.
I think that's where his character shift starts happening.
Yeah, you think when the seeds start getting planted?
Yeah, where he goes, "Oh crap, I actually like this town and I like these people, and crap."
Well, Marion shows up and sings a song to Harold about how she never felt this way until him, and she kisses him! Snaky snake man, damn it, Harold. Stop taking advantage of people, you slimy prick.
Mm-hmm.
Marcellus gets Harold's attention by throwing a rock at him, and tells him that the uniforms are here and that he needs to get his money and leave town now, before people realize he's a fraud. Harold is like, but I'm about to get laid, I can't leave yet, and he rushes off back to Marion, who reveals that she knows that he's a fraud, and that she shows him the page that she tore out of the book that proves that he's a fraud. Right on cue, though, Cowell reveals to the town at the fairgrounds that Harold is a fraud, and now the mob is out for blood. They literally grab torches and begin the hunt for him. Marcellus is on the lookout for Harold to warn him, but Harold has to escort Marion home and is waiting for her to change before they can play hide the trombone. Are you okay? Kay did that, like, silent high squeak laugh, and I'm, like, looking at the recording, and it was barely even registering. I'm sorry, are you okay?
Oh, my lungs. That was so funny. God damn it.
The hunt for Harold continues, and we're treated to the townsfolk and their frantic, fire-wielding manhunt.
God, white people with torches are scary.
Right? Like, especially... that scene especially made me go, whoa, like, this happened, like, a year ago. Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
But Marcellus tries to run interference and lead them off so that Harold can escape. Harold decides to pick this moment to grow a conscience and not flee. The mob nabs Harold and drag him to the town hall. The tar is melting and the feathers are being plucked, and Harold is quaking.
However, right before this, Winthrop comes up. And...
You're right.
So, this is another scene that they do in one of the Forbidden Broadways. I want to say it's 2001. That year's Forbidden Broadway that they did this scene with... Because they were talking about the revival that was going on in 2000. And they have the Winthrop character running up and just... Thifter! Stay away from Harold Hill! He's a dirty, doppy thief! Harold, I wish you'd never come to River Shitty!
Buffer and succotash! But yeah, so I forgot that part.
Yeah.
After the town finds out that Harold's a fraud, Winthrop runs off because he's very upset by it. And Harold's just hanging out in front of Marion's house, waiting for her to come out. And that's when Marcellus shows up, and he's like, dude, you gotta go. There's an angry mob looking for you. And then Marion's mother shows up, and she's like, oh, you better get going, Harold. Like, she doesn't want anything bad to happen to him, because I think she also sees the positive impact he's had on her son. But she's like, you better get out of here. They're out for blood. I haven't seen Winthrop. Maybe he's in his room, so she goes inside. That's when Marion comes out, and she's like, what's going on? And Harold's like, the shit has hit the fan. And Winthrop, that's when he comes home, and he's just like, you're a dirty, rotten liar. What was it? Oh, God, that was so funny. When Harold's... he tries to run, and Harold grabs him, and he's like, no, you sit here for a thing. He's like, why? You're just gonna lie to me anyway. He goes, I won't lie to you. I'll tell you the truth. He goes, are you a liar? Yes. Did you take people's money? Yes. Do you know how to conduct a band? No. Like, and, that part was just funny, but, okay, so, yeah, we covered that. So we're at the courthouse after they grabbed Harold and took him, not courthouse, town hall.
Mm-hmm.
After they nabbed Harold. Marion, however, rises to Harold's defense and reminds everyone how boring River City was before Harold came there, and how they had nothing to be proud of, and how they all sucked. The townsfolk stand up one by one in protest of Harold being prosecuted for his lies, when the mayor is like, but you all paid for uniforms and instruments for a band. Where's the band? Tommy comes to the rescue and brings in the band. Marion brings Harold up front and center and has him conduct the band. Just as expected...
Think, men.
Oh, God.
Think.
Think and you can play.
It's one of my favorite moments.
And this is where the show starts to piss me off. So, Harold is brought up to conduct, and just as expected, they all play horribly because the think method doesn't work. Who would have thunk it? Not these idiots, that's for sure. And to drive the point home just how stupid these people are, they cheer on their children one by one, thinking that their kid sounds great. Tommy leads the band out of the building, and they magically get nicer uniforms and better instruments. And god damn it, I hit a button on my laptop, and it skipped to the very top of my notes. So Tommy leads them outside, and they magically get better uniforms and better instruments, and proceed to usher in the closing credits as they march down the street, playing way better than they have any right to. Moral of the story, listeners, if you bullshit your way through life long enough, not only will you find love, but you'll come out of it smelling like a rose. I hate that ending scene so goddamn much because I don't feel like Harold learned his lesson. I don't feel like
not at all.
He didn't have to redeem himself really in any way.
No.
Like he bullshit his way through everything to the point where he was able to like Jedi mind trick Marion into doing all the work for him. Because even when he gets up there to conduct, he doesn't know how to fucking conduct. Like it takes training to learn how to conduct properly. I've been at performances with you, and I've seen conductors conduct, and it takes practice. So, and then of course, you know, when everybody's playing the instruments, they're terrible because they don't know how to play.
There's the one person playing it right.
If you say so.
Doing the da 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 da, like at least being on tune, or in tune and on key. But that's it.
Oh god. But, and you know, I get the idea that the parents are proud of their kids. Like, even if they sound terrible, they're just like, oh, look at my little kid up there in his uniform with his instrument. Even if he sounds like dog shit put through a strainer, like, he just...
Having been in a school band, that's what band parents are like. It doesn't matter that your kid sounds like garbage. You're like, that's my baby! It's like...
Okay, but the difference is with that is at least if you're in band, you're getting actual training from someone who knows music.
Yep, and it's your own damn fault and you're don't do it right.
Like, and they instruct you to practice your instrument and stuff like that. With this one, it was just the whole think method. Just go home and think about playing it, and then you'll be able to play it. And so I enjoyed this show a lot, but just like My Fair Lady, it gets to the end, and I feel like it just falls right on its face.
Yep.
I feel like it could be so much better if you just tweaked the ending of both of those shows and actually had the person in question fucking learn a goddamn lesson. Like,
I want to see the 1 year later of this.
Right? Well, I mean, maybe that's what that last scene was.
Maybe
it was the 1 year later, because they all sounded way better.
Yeah.
And they had nicer uniforms, so maybe it was the 1 year later.
Maybe Harold, because the stage version does not end with the band being miraculously better.
It just ends with the part where they're in the town hall playing, and everybody's like, that's my Timmy, that's my James.
Yeah. So it's at least the movie kind of makes you think, oh, maybe Harold Hill, actually learned his lesson and also was like... But no, he didn't. No.
Nobody got laid, though, so there's that. He got laid. Good job, Harold. I mean, I think Marion is probably half to a third of his age. Creepy bastard. But,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show... It does fit into the Broadway Cinematic Universe really well, though, because it does explain the happenings of Hair that takes place about 50 years later. So
if you squint and take a lot of drugs, sure.
Well, no, because they're just descended from those same 6 people, and that's why the idiot ball gets passed around so much, because the idiot ball started in River City.
Oh my god. Like, I feel so conflicted with a lot of these classical shows,
Mhm.
because so far, a lot of them, like, I like them right up to the end, and then I don't like the ending.
As soon as you get to the ending, it's like, God damn it!
Nobody learns a fucking lesson. Why don't old white men ever get to learn a lesson? Like, it works out for them. It just fucking works out for them.
Yeah.
Kind of like life. I don't know. Is that the moral of the story? Is just
Be an old white man.
Be an old white man and everything will work out for
It's
you.
gotta be.
Jesus
Jesus Christ. Because it was one of those things that, because I have such fond memories of this, but that was because I had seen it pre-watching the ultimate grifter do their work. And suddenly I'm like, oh shit. This is...
Harold. Harold is funny because can't remember his name, but the professor in My Fair Lady,
Henry Higgins.
Henry Higgins. Holy shit, Harold Hill, Henry Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
All right then.
Peter Parker.
Nah, but Peter Parker's at least a superhero who does good.
And he's in a musical.
Don't you fucking mention it. But I just... Because Harold Hill... With Henry Higgins, he's an insufferable douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
And but he's entertaining.
Yeah.
Not Henry Higgins, God.
Harold
Hill is less insufferable because he's very, very charismatic.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing, is that he's so charming and so charismatic that he's able to bullshit his way through all of the obstacles rather than just kind of bulldoze his way through them like Higgins does.
Yeah.
And he is very entertaining, except for the parts where he's being creepy towards Marion.
Yeah.
And just I want him to learn a lesson. Like, I just...
Yeah,
why,
it would be nice.
Why is it so hard for musicals to do that? Like,
because
I swear that every ending is just jingling the keys, going, just look at the keys, everything's fine, look at the keys.
I don't think that we get that until post-Hair, that you don't get people learning their lessons. Like, and even then, it's not as common. I think that's a more recent thing in musicals to have, if the main character's a douche, by the end of it, they either learn their lesson or they keep being a douche, and the lesson is don't be a douche.
The lesson for the audience is don't be this guy.
Yeah, because that's like the only... That's the only thing I can think of, because, I mean, the 50s were more optimistic with musicals and more, like... I don't know, there was a lot of the let's make these shows feel really good. And this is post-World War II as well, so that's kind of the culture at the time is... I don't know. It's a lot of let's smile and have happy musicals. And it's not until later that we start getting the, yeah, but the lessons suck.
Yeah. I mean, but I did like the show right up until the end.
Yeah.
It is entertaining and everything like that, and it's nice to see the references, the source of the references.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my take. You have any questions for me or anything?
I don't think so with this one.
No, that kind of sums up my
Your feel.
views. Yeah.
So, Warren?
Okay.
This is the moment. Now is the time. Unfortunately, I cannot think of something that'll rhyme. I was trying to come up with something on the fly to lead us into Spoopy Month, because next week starts Spoopy Month.
Yay!
And to start out Spoopy Month, we are doing a Frank Wildhorn musical, our first one of his. I had at first wanted to do Scarlet Pimpernel first and do it before Spoopy Month, because I had this whole schedule written out, but then I couldn't find a copy of Scarlet Pimpernel, so if anyone listening here has a copy of an English version of Scarlet Pimpernel...
Because didn't you say that the only ones you could find were in Spanish?
German.
And
we are going to be doing one that's in a foreign language that's Frank Wildhorn, but I wanted you to hear Scarlet Pimpernel like you would hear it if we were to see it here. So if anyone's been in it or has a copy of Scarlet Pimpernel, feel free to... We will love you forever if you, like, send us a file with it or send us a link or something. But the Frank Wildhorn one that we're doing first is the one that I was singing, well, butchering the song from. We're doing Jekyll and Hyde.
Nice. I have a passing familiarity with Jekyll and Hyde, but I've never read the original story. So cool. I'm excited.
And the version that we're watching has well, let me show you our cast list with our lead actor for the version we're watching.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
David fucking Hasselhoff?
Yes.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Does he play Hyde?
Yes.
Oh my god.
He plays Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll. So he plays both of them?
I believe so. I believe that's how they have it set up
okay,
for
I couldn't
this.
remember if they had like two separate actors since it's kind of
I don't
light
think
side, dark
so
side.
with this. Yeah, no, he plays both with this one.
That's awesome. I'm actually excited to see Hasselhoff do that.
Yep. So next week we're gonna start our spoopy month. With Jekyll and Hyde. And then after that, I will announce what the second musical is for Spoopy Month after that.
And that's the mystery one that you haven't told me.
It's the mystery one that I have not told you yet. And that better not be fucking taken down by the time that we get to it. I will be so mad. Because I have searched for this one. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Otherwise, I'll have to change my plans again. Or find a different spoopy musical for
and
week 2.
You're still recovering, so I want you to have as little stress as possible.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Tone Deaf with Warren's introduction to Music Man.
Yes, and if you want to reach out to us, please, you can on all the social media things, Tone Deaf Musical on Twitter, Facebook, and Gmail. You can also join us on our Discord channel that we have on the Podcast Junkie Discord server. Okay, we'll have a link in the description of the show. And if you want to come talk to us about musicals or unrelated things, we're down to interact and have a good time.
If you want to see pictures of Latte and Steven.
Yeah, if you like animal pictures, we've got some on there because animals are great.
Yep. And also, we do have our website up. It's tonedeafmusical.com. And if you happen to have a show that you really want us to cover and you have a way for us to see it, please email us at tonedeafmusical@gmail.com with, the link to where we can see it or a source for it. Because we don't have a P.O. box right now. So and that'll be a thing eventually.
And if you want to know Kay's schedule, feel free to ask her because she has a plan for, of course, introducing me to all these things. But a show that you might want to see might be later down the road. But if there's people who want to see it, we might be able to get shuffled sooner into the mix. So
yeah,
but yeah. So
if it's a show that Warren hasn't seen, which other than the ones that we've covered in episodes, there's only like 4 shows he hasn't seen.
That I have seen.
Or that you have seen.
Yeah. Very few.
Yeah, there's very few. Like, those are the only ones that I can say with confidence we'll be doing later.
Yeah, because I've already seen them, even if it's been years.
Yeah, because I want his mind to be as fresh as possible as I meld it and form it into this cultured brain.
You're trying to Pygmalion my brain?
I'm trying to Pygmalion your brain.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Slowly, I am picking up on stuff.
Yes.
Which is why I'm very proud of myself when I do remember things, and why you give me these, like, big starry eyes of, like, oh, you're not as dumb as I thought you were.
So, yeah, guys, just thank you so much for listening, and for our Patreon, or patrons, we're going to try to get the Skittles musical up soon. It'll probably be up
Taste
at the
rainbow.
end of the month. If I can get it up around the time that we're putting this episode up, that would be nice, but we're going to be out of town.
I gotta say, I love hearing Kay say, if I can get it up.
God damn it.
That brings a smile to my lips.
Oh my lord. Oh, man. So, thank you guys for listening. That'll be it for this week. I'm Kay.
I'm Warren.
This has been
Tone Deaf.